I'm Caleb Brooks with the AHSAA Radio Network. I'm at Reeltown High School, joined by head football coach, Coach Matt Johnson. Coach, I talked to you guys before the year, and you told me that you felt like y'all had a good group and could do something really special this year, but it's actually happening. And you're sitting here at 8-0, you're region champs now, and you're playing really, really good football. And I think it's kind of opposite of a year ago, where y'all came out the gate playing great a year ago, and then in the back end kind of fell off, injuries, things like that. This year kind of came out and struggled a little bit early, and then now I think y'all have really started playing your best football. What are your thoughts on this team and really how this season has gone so far?
Right. Well, we knew, like you said, coming in, we had a good group. We had a lot coming back from last year. We lost a lot, too. That was a good group of seniors that we lost, but had a lot more experience coming into this year. And, we came out, we faced some good teams. Bullitt County, I mean, we knew they'd be much improved. They gave us a challenge in a lot of ways with some things that we hadn't seen before. And our guys had to overcome a lot of adversity to start with, because Davil, they played, one of their best games against us. And but the good thing is, like you said, we got away, winning a few games there without playing our best ball. And it seems, we've been able to get better and better each week. We had a little hiccup there in between, where I felt like we played our best game against Maplesville and kind of stayed on that high for a little while. So had to come back down. Thorsby played us a really good game, and we came out a little flat against them. But once again, we escaped that game with a victory. And then last week we come out really fast against a struggling Coosa team, but we started fast. And, that's what we have to focus on is, what we can control.
Yeah.
And it's just preaching that message of, hey, let's sharpen our iron each and every single day and quit worrying about who we're playing. If we do what we're supposed to do, then everything else will take care of itself. And these guys have really done that. They're busting their tail in the weight room, and just been real proud of them.
And I mean, look, this isn't a knock on Coosa. They've only got 12 players.
Right.
So when you come out and play a team like that, we're going into the game, you feel, we should win this game.
Right.
Do you just want to see what you saw Friday night, like what you've talked about with coming out and still just kind of playing to a standard? Basically?
Exactly. We play our game. That's what you want to see. And, it was a similar situation last year with Coosa. They came here, and we started out flat. I mean, we went 3 and out our first offensive possession against them last year, and we had a good team then too. They were struggling at that time, and matter of fact, they scored first in that game. So we lulled down and kind of played at a level that we shouldn't play at, and so that was the message all week last week is, hey, look, quit worrying about opponents, quit worrying about people patting you on the back, telling you, hey, good job, that's great, tell them thank you and all that, but we still have to come to work each and every day because we're still not, we're not where we need to be yet.
Maplesville's obviously not a region opponent for you guys, but it's a huge win, I think, for this program. And everybody knows what Maplesville's done and the success that they've had. And so a really competitive game between y'all two, and y'all were really able to pull away late in that game and really kind of take over the game. Right. And how big was getting that win over Maplesville and just confidence-wise for this group? Yeah,
that was huge because I feel like, we still didn't play 4 quarters that game, but that was 3.5 quarters of the best ball we played. They came out and, their first drive, they hit us right in the mouth. It was like a 8-play, 75-yard drive, and they scored and just real balanced. And so, we stayed calm. Players stayed calm. Nobody ever lost focus. We get the ball back. Didn't have a very good return. They pinned us back deep, and 3 plays later, we're in the end zone. So we had 2 real big plays on offense. We get back in the game. Tied up 7-7, and then we didn't look back. I think we went ahead in the third quarter 33-7, and we kind of fizzled out a little bit toward the end of the fourth quarter, and they scored one late on us on a big pass play. So, we still hadn't played 4 complete quarters of football yet. That was about 3.5 quarters of really good football we played against them, and they had a good team. There's no doubt about it. They're still Maplesville, so. That was big for us, and the tests, they keep coming. We got a good test this week against a good Vincent team, and then we'll finish out the year with an undefeated Ramburn team going into the playoffs. So we still got to get better, and still got some good competition in front of us.
How do you treat that Ramburn game? Like as a coach, because you're going in the playoffs, so you're not trying to go out and I guess get guys hurt or anything, but you don't want to worry about that either. Just playing against an undefeated team, it's going to be a big game, but it's also one of those where it's not a region game and you know what's ahead for you. So as a coach, how do you handle a game like that?
Well, Well, there's two sides of it. Number one, we want to win. We got Vincent this week. That's a huge game for us, so we can't look ahead. But just to answer your question from a hypothetical standpoint, when you get a non-region undefeated team going into the playoffs, we do have a bye week in between to kind of get our focus back and get back into the playoff picture. But yeah, I mean, we're going to do what we got to do to win. We want to. We're going to play our ball. They're going to play their ball, I'm sure. And this will be the fourth time we've played them since I've been here, and it's always been a tight game.
Yeah.
My first year we won by a field goal. Second year I think we won by 6 points. Last year they hit us in the mouth and beat us by a couple of touchdowns actually, 12 points I believe. And so it's always a great game. It's always real physical, but we do have to be smart in how we prepare. But when the lights come on, we want to win.
Yeah, and playing a team like Ranburne right there before the playoffs.
Right.
Not to knock any of the other teams, but more than likely in the first, I'd say, round or two, you're not going to see a team the quality of Ranburne. I mean, they're sitting there undefeated. They're a team that people expect to make third, fourth round. So,
right.
When you see an opponent like that right there before the playoffs, how much do you think that can help your group, when they go and face those first, second, even third round?
Oh, absolutely. That's how we schedule. You look at our region schedule, which is dictated by the state, but you look at our non-region schedule, we don't try to shy away from anybody, and we don't want anybody to do that with us either. So it's a very, very high quality opponent going into the playoffs, which is great because you want to peak at the right time. So that's the last game of the year. Let's see how we line up, see how we match up, and see what we need to do. We got a week to take off to really work on ourselves, to really focus back up on the playoffs. So, Ranburne's going to show us a lot that we need to work on. I'm sure of it because Coach Bailey does a remarkable job. They've hadn't seen them a whole lot, but I know they, judging by the record, they've got a good team this year. So, they'll be a good measuring stick for us going into the playoffs to see, hey, what we're good at and what we really need to work on.
Have you seen maybe the motivation from this team a little bit higher than a year ago because they felt like they didn't reach where they felt like they should have reached?
Oh, absolutely. It's like you and I talked about this summer. It was a really bad taste in our mouth what happened last year. Thought we had a great group, had a really good season, and then first round we're 1 seed, 4 seed comes in. Of course, Daleville wasn't your typical 4 seed either. They had really good players.
They got a running back right now. It's the nation's leading rusher.
Oh yeah, well I knew that before everybody else did. So they had a great team, and they came in. We felt like we didn't play our best ball at the right time, and like you said earlier, we felt like we played our best ball first 3-4 games of the year, and just kind of. I know we had a lot of injuries, but that taste in our mouth has really carried over. I mean, that's easy motivation all off season. That's what we preach to our guys. Hey, we're not one and done. You're region champs, and we're one and done. So that's a taste that we really want to get out of our mouth, and our guys really, the leadership on this team stepped up. And it's like we talked about yesterday at practice. We had a pretty physical, long practice yesterday, and I told them, hey guys, I'm gonna step back because there's coach-led teams and there's player-led teams, just like everybody talks about. And this group's really embraced that. They really have done a really good job of that, and the leadership's really stepped up. And they're not just saying it. A lot of people want to just say stuff, whether it's coach talk, players talk, but they're actually doing it. And I've been real proud of them for that. And they hold each other accountable and they get after it. I mean, we had a kid yesterday who, laid out Eric Shaw right in the middle of the ice. So it's not like we're shying away from each other and taking it easy. They're getting after it. And I was real proud of them.
You mentioned peaking at the right time. Do you think this team's headed to peaking at the right time, or do you feel like that Maplesville game was such a big high that it is going to be a little bit of a struggle for this team to kind of get back to that level?
Right. I do think we've done a lot better job, this team has, of not peaking. And that was last week. We talked about Coosa a while ago, and you can say what you want about Coosa and other teams and stuff like that, but they've got some pretty good players, and they're going to be all right. They've got some young kids that's playing that they're going to be all right in the future. But you don't look at the scoreboard as much as you want to see how your kids handle that. Mm-hmm. And so when they come out against a team like that and they play fast and they're really motivated and they have the same competitive spirit that they had against a Maplesville or Thorsby or somebody previously, or this week versus Vincent, that's when you've got something, I think, where they're not peaking. They understand that, hey, every opportunity that we go out and every rep that we got to get better at what we do. You know, if you just judge your improvement based off of who you're going against, then I mean, sometimes you're going to improve a lot because you're going to get your butt whooped, and sometimes you're not going to improve at all. So we've got to just get better at what we do, and I think that's this team's focus. And I think the leadership on this team has really, really embraced that, and it's just trickling down to the younger guys. And you know, we attack practice every day. Our practices are very intense and player-led. You know, that they have a lot to do with that.
You know, not to just single out one player, but I mean, Eric Shaw's an SEC talent, and you know, to have him on your team and to have him stay healthy this year, how big has that been for this group to have him out there with them this year?
Absolutely. Well, you know, on our level, 2A level, of course, any level with that type of player, with that type of player at any level, you want him to stay healthy. But you know, all the way around, you know, on our level, if you have a couple of good players who play both sides of the football, if they can stay healthy, you know, that's huge. And for Eric to stay healthy throughout the year so far, knock on wood, for the most part, our team has stayed healthy this year. And, you know, if we feel like if we can continue to stay healthy, that we got a chance to do some big things. And but yeah, Eric, he erases a lot on offense and defense. So for him to be healthy and our other guys to be able to play consistently, you know, every week in the same role and build on that role and not have to miss a beat, that's huge because you can really build off that. And we've been very fortunate so far in that area.
Is there a big area that you look at and you say, well, we really need to improve here if we are going to go make this run that we feel like we can make?
Right. There's a few areas that we really got to improve on. We got to be able to do some things defensively that you know, you brought up Eric Shaw. Eric erases a lot for us on defense that you know, we got exposed a little earlier in the year with that. We had a team expose that and had a little bit of success. I feel like we've gotten better at that, but we hadn't seen anybody kind of come back to that. So, you know, I'm ready to see if that area's gotten a little bit better. Our kicking game has improved immensely, but our kickoff coverage has a long way to go. You know, that's been a huge weakness for us for a big part of the season is our coverage team. Connor Moore does a great job kicking it deep, but you know, average starting field position right now is about the 35-yard line for our opponents, and he's kicking it down to 10 or 8-yard line. So that's a huge area that's got to improve. Offensively, we got to really get balanced. We're running the ball extremely well, and at times we've thrown the ball well, but you know, it's just picking up blitzes, and people's gonna, you know, they're gonna pound the box with us and put 8 people in there, and we've just got to be able to expose them defensively. So we'll have an opportunity to do that this week because Vincent, they're gonna have 6 guys in the box, and they're gonna walk those outside linebackers in tight. So it's really gonna be like 8 men in the box. Yeah. So we're gonna have to do some things to kind of exploit that, and you know, finish up with Rammer, who's gonna do the exact same thing next week. So that's a few things that we really got to work on and get better at. Not that we do a bad job at any of that, but it's stuff that, you know, we've got to raise to the caliber of other areas that we do really well.
Coach, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me. Man. Thank you for letting me come back and you know, visit with your guys. Congratulations to Rashid being named Athlete of the Week. That's a big thing for him, and looking forward to seeing this run. You know, I'm ready to see what you guys are able to do this postseason. Congrats on a region championship, and
thank you.
You know, hopefully we'll be seeing you on Auburn later on.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it, brother.
Yes, sir.